All right, we're back at Lantern Insights. Been a bit of a break over Christmas, and took a bit of time off for Christmas, and then got a cold, so my voice was totally gone. Mostly recovered now. Just have a little bit of a cough, so hopefully try not to cough much in the videos. But apologies in advance if that happens. Anyway, we're still on Orzhov for now. I'm likely going to be trying out lots of new builds in January. Want to try some different things. Actually, if you have a list you want to see me play on the channel, feel free, let me know. I'm happy to play other people's decks, show it off a bit. But for this one, we're sticking with my Orzhov list, and so we open up a pretty, I think it's a good hand. We have turn 1 Disruption, and then Pixis plus a couple baubles can definitely get us to lands, lantern, things we need. Bridge is important in our opener. And so we keep here, and they lead on Footfalls. Obviously a lot of decks, but drawing the Spire is very nice here. Gives us our second land and lets us Thoughtseize on 1 instead of playing Pixis with the baubles to get lands. So we go ahead and do that, and we see that they're on Rhinos with double Mystical Dispute and Otawara. Now importantly, Otawara is their only other land that they have in hand, which does mean hopefully they're forced to play it. And here, I elect to just take a Mystical Dispute. I think you could take a Violent Outburst, but I think I don't want to leave them with 2 Mystical Disputes, as I am going to need Bridge at some point. If I had Urza's Saga, this would be a situation where taking the Outburst would look a bit better, but I'm not able to put any pressure on them, and I don't have a fast lock, so I think I'm just going to take the Dispute here, especially having Bridge in hand. Now we are going to have to find a window to get around the other dispute in hand, but I think we can work that. So we just run out our baubles here. We're not going to crack them. I just elect to dump them early, and so they are forced to play the Otawara, like we talked about, which is pretty good. It means they are not able to use it to answer a bridge later on. And then they go ahead and tap down our land here. This isn't a huge deal, as we can still play Bridge the next turn. Importantly, this is one matchup where Bridge we don't need to be totally empty in hand for. Like, they're making 4/4s that can attack on turn 4 at the earliest, so Bridge with like 3 cards in hand is still usually fine against Rhinos. Yes, they'll be able to chip in with like Shardless Agent, but not a huge worry for us. We are going to Pixis here, looking for either discard to get rid of Mystical Dispute or Lantern. And importantly, they have Violent Outburst, but they only have one source of non-blue mana. We'll actually see here they draw, I get rid of the 3rd land, and then they draw an island, which they play. Importantly, so we still know like 3 cards in their hand. Not a ton, but they're going to leave up the Mystical Dispute here. Importantly, their clock is a lot slower because they have the Violent Outburst, which they can't cast. So we're not too worried about Rhinos coming quickly yet, and we see a Duress on top. The reason I cracked Bauble there is because I wanted the card on my turn, and I still have an opportunity to use Pixis if it was something that I didn't want. So if it was like another land, I probably would have untapped and with the trigger on the stack used Pixis again, but I do want to have access to that card, whatever it was on this turn. And so we Duress, take the second dispute. We see they got more Dead Gods and Outburst again. We're not too worried with Bridge. And then here you could suspend the tutor, but I elect to just lock with Lantern here. I think because we have Bridge and they're not able to put a lot of pressure, we're just in a very, very commanding position here. And yeah, from here we're going to suspend the tutor in a couple turns. I am going to Pixis kind of aggressively to try to get rid of Tidebinder here. They don't have any ways of drawing cards at instant speed that I like in their hand. They do in the deck, obviously, but not that they have access to right now. And letting them have something like Shardless Agent is totally fine. Importantly, Tidebinder is very good when you only have 1 Mill Rock. So if once you're up to 2 or 3, it's kind of less impactful. But when you only have 1, it can really, really disrupt you. And yeah, again, here we're just going to play suspend a Profane Tutor and just remove one of the Rhinos, just get that hand empty. The Needle will go on Boseiju as they've already played an Otawara, and we get game 1 from Rhinos here. Obviously, they played out a little bit, but here we're just gonna slam the second bridge, and yeah, from here it's game over. Like I said, Pithing Needle and Boseiju. With double bridge, we actually search for a Codex Shredder, and then there's a Codex Shredder on top after we search. So there's like we're like 99.9% from here. Yeah, we're basically game over. And so let's get into sideboarding and game 2. Alright, still kind of sorting out sideboarding decisions, and working on a sideboard guide. Should be out in about a week, probably, would be my guess. And then for Rhinos, we're going to take out the Prismatic Ending. Yes, it's a clean answer to a Rhino, but I don't think it's too relevant, as often we're either playing bridge or making bigger constructs, so we don't. The 4/4 body isn't a huge deal. We're going to cut the Cookbook, as, again, like I talked about earlier, bridge with 3 cards in hand, they still can attack through, and they're not so aggressive that we need the life gain. And Grafdigger's Cage, just again, not for this matchup. Important cards, Surgical, I think is very nice if we can hit either like Force of Negation or a Crashing Footfalls that we mill, can really reduce the strength of their deck. Welding Jar, as all their removal is Force of Vigor, or that type of effect that's going to destroy Flame of Anor. Pithing Needle, Boseiju, Otawara, we want to name. And then Hushbringer, I'm kind of trying out as an answer to Tidebinder. Mostly just, I used to leave 2 pendings in, kind of tried bringing in the Hushbringer for this matchup, just to see, not totally sold on it as an answer for Tidebinder, but something to try. As we get into game 2, we again open a 1-lander. I still elect to keep it on the draw. Definitely would prefer this Hushbringer to be a second land, but we got the full lock, disruption, so overall I think very keepable. Needle, again, can be valuable for Boseiju or Otawara. Obviously, Hushbringer as a land would make it a lot cleaner. And again, with these 1-landers, lead on Lantern and then Mill Rock next turn. Unfortunately, drawing double Profane Tutor is not really what we want to be doing here, as we do really need that second land. And then we do see Flame of Anor on top, but we will eventually have a Thoughtseize for it, and they ice our land, which is going to set us pretty behind here. And I do elect to shuffle just because I have the second Lantern in hand, and I think we're extremely far behind here without a second land. Like if we just pass with Lantern and they like make Rhinos flame, like we're very, very behind. So we're going to replay Lantern, and they force it, pitching a Shardless Agent, and I think at this point they're fairly commanding position here, as they're just very ahead, and without bridge to catch up, we are in a bit of trouble. Unfortunately for us, they do only have 2 lands, which means we will have some time to answer this Flame of Anor. But here, yeah, I go for the Construct line. I'm not totally convinced about this. I think because I don't have black mana, it kind of makes a lot of what I would want to do a bit more awkward, as I can't like Profane Tutor and Thoughtseize. Like if these were both Blooming Marsh or Concealed Courtyard, sorry, I think like Profane Tutor and Thoughtseize here is pretty solid. I think I'm just electing to make a construct and then set up the lock next turn. Obviously a more aggressive Profane Tutor here I think could have worked out pretty well. Yeah, so we're just gonna float mana, grab Lantern, play the Thoughtseize first, and what happens here? Yes, they grab their land, and then they're just gonna outburst. Obviously, we're taking the Flame of Anor in their hand, but we do need a bridge at some point. And they do have the Force, so I think with this hand, even if we have like the more aggressive tutor for bridge, I think we still are in trouble with these construct or with Flame in hand, just being able to either kill bridge or kill anything else. We are going to make a construct that is big enough to trade with the either of the Rhinos. So we're kind of trying to force them to play, forcing them to play the flame on the just kill creature mode, and then hopefully be able to resolve a bridge later. We do kind of have to draw pretty well here, so we're not. I don't know why I didn't trade here. I think I don't know why I didn't trade. Obviously not playing this game perfectly, but a bit rusty from the break, I guess. Yeah, I think a few things could have gone on better here, but I think probably not making the construct and just more aggressively getting that tutor out there. I think it still gets forced though. So they do have like most of the cards that were kind of good in this matchup they had, and then just the Force of Vigor on top, and not really much we can do here. We can chump for one turn, but or no, they have Flame in hand, so they're just gonna be able to kill Hushbringer and then swing with Murktide and the Rhinos. But we'll be on the play for game 3, and hopefully. Yeah, apparently I have like short-term memory issues. Thought they flamed here, but I guess not. They must have been holding for bridge, which we're not able to find anyway. So kind of a tough one. Didn't play it great, but hopefully we'll get them back in game 3. As we get into our third and final game, we open up a beautiful hand here. We got like turn 1 disruption. We got multiple lock pieces. Saga's very good. Importantly, with Rhinos, you can definitely make 2 5/5 constructs and just kind of blank their first copy of Violent Outburst. So that's always something good. And they mulligan down to 4, which obviously is going to be pretty good for us. I would consider playing turn 1 Shredder here, but seeing them mull down to 4 is just makes the decision much easier. Obviously, we're gonna Thoughtseize their mull to 4 and hopefully close with Urza Saga quickly. So we see a Tidebinder and a Footfalls. I guess that's a hand. We take the Footfalls as the Tidebinder is going to be slow coming down, and we're just going to be able to make constructs that are big enough before the Tidebinder is really relevant, especially on the play here. On the draw, the Binder would be able to stop counter 1 construct, but on the play, not going to be relevant here. And yeah, so we're just going to play some Mill Rocks out, and yeah, just let Urza Saga do its best. And obviously, if they had top decked Fire Ice there, it would be not amazing. But yes, we are gonna upkeep, make the dude before Tidebinder can counter it, but they only have 2 lands, so not a big deal. And second Saga token and Lantern here, and yeah, we're gonna not let them draw Borrower, as they will be able to answer a token with it. And Hushbringer, still just trying it out against Rhinos. Not totally sold on it, but I think it's sort of reasonable. Yeah, from here they draw that land, and kind of an unfortunate multi 4 for them, but we'll take it. And as we play the Needle, and they force a Needle. Obviously very aggressive, makes us think they have something that they would Needle in hand, but with all our Mill Rocks, Tutor in hand, they just concede here. Don't have I guess they didn't have red for Violent Outburst, my guess maybe. Not exactly sure, but we'll take the win in the 5th round, make up for some of our bad plays in the 2nd round. Thank you to everyone that's been watching these. Really appreciated hearing your guys' thoughts on the deck, and look forward to getting back into the Lantern more.